Oh, did we hear you, Craig? I think we did, right?
Yep. Present. Craig Pasula present.
Thank you. And do I note that Brett's our guest? Sorry. Did I just mention we have a guest today? Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to share my screen. First order of business, just to review the. Oops. I think Nicole's joining as well. Sorry, I just saw Nicole's joining. I was admitting her. And I think, as everybody's aware, because I saw everyone respond, but John Lindsay sent his letter of resignation. He to the Sustainability Committee. He has some commitments that are making it difficult to also be present on the Sustainability Committee. So you all would, I think, saw that news, but I just thought I would mention it. Okay. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We'll just review the previous meeting minutes for acceptance. Did anyone have any? Oops, sorry, that's the agenda. Sorry, this is the meeting minutes from March 1st. Any changes or questions?
No.
Nope, they look good to me.
Okay. That sounds good. Okay, so we'll move on. So I'm going to go a little out of order if that's okay.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, Alexis.
Yeah, of course.
I know you probably don't have them on, up, but remember we had to review some minutes that Antoinette had emailed us about.
Yeah.
I don't have those dates on hand. Do you want to review those at the next meeting?
Oh, I can, I see what you're saying. Let me pull those up. Hold on 1 second, sorry. Sorry, they're just on a different section of my computer. Maybe if we can, is it okay to either do it at the end or put it at the next meeting? What's your preference?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if the draft minutes for those are the ones that I was missing from at the meeting. So I don't know if those draft ones were sent out to the committee.
I think
so. You want to just?
I thought they were.
There's some like from January that I guess haven't been posted. Do you want to just organize them and send them out, and then we can talk about the next meeting? I know
Sure.
There's some approved minutes that haven't been posted yet, or I should say not approved minutes. It's some draft minutes that haven't been posted yet.
Yeah, I'll send them out. I think that they had all been distributed I think it was during the time that you were on a break from the Sustainability Committee. So I think they were distributed to everybody, but just to jog everybody's memory, to your point, I think it would probably be easier if we recirculate them. Does that work for everyone? You, Pat and Craig, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So the first thing I wanted to just mention, just kind of a not incredibly monumental update on the North Stonington Ag Fair. So Jody Whipple, who's on that committee for the North Stonington Ag Fair, has gotten me some information regarding what the Ag Fair ordered in terms of supplies that they themselves were responsible for. In terms of, I can get you the list, but it was, paper towels and trash bags and that kind of thing. It seemed pretty, not overwhelmingly large list. Then as a follow-up, because that was the expectation, I think what we talked about is that, we would try to at least as kind of a baseline attempt to raise potentially funds and supply kind of more sustainable products for at least what the North Stonington Ag Fair purchases. And then secondarily, find out what it would entail to provide some of the more kind of paper products for their largest food vendor. They have many food vendors. And I think we had discussed on a prior call, and also this was kind of Jody's take, was that that might be way too complicated at this juncture to try to supply their paperware as well. But if there's one local vendor that she's working with to see if we can get a list from them of what the order would entail if we were to supply their paper, utensils and that kind of thing as well. So I followed up with her just recently, and she said it was going to follow up with them again. She hadn't heard back. So that's still pending in terms of getting that list from them in terms of what we would need to order. But in terms of what the fair ordered, it was things like heavy liner 56-gallon bags, 60-gallon bags, solo cups, liquid soap, hand soap, paper towels, that kind of thing. So it's all, it was for the operation of the fair and the ham and bean dinner. So I can distribute that, but it seemed pretty, I remember when I was looking at everything, it didn't seem overwhelming in terms of like a list. They'd gotten it from Conrad Paper and Supply Company. So that was their supplier, but it was all just kind of generic things. So I think the next step there will be to figure out if the scope will be of the other food vendor as well, or if we're just going to stick purely to what they need from the fair purchasing side, and then put together like what the cost would be and what we need in terms of fundraising. As I mentioned on the last call, the Sustainable CT has already said that it would be viable for, or eligible, I should say, for a matching grant. So we can kind of assess what we would need to raise and what, how to go about kind of the fundraising for crowdsourcing campaign for purchasing those kind of products.
In doing the matching grant, you have to get donations for 70% of your part of the match. It's going to be hard to get the donors. An organization can only donate 30% of the match. Any organizations, and all the rest has to be individuals. That's going to be pretty hard to fund.
Right. You mean in terms of like if you solicited, you're saying not for the matching grant part, because they give 50% of the total budget, right?
Of the other 50%, the part that's not the matching, it has to be individuals, 70% of it, or 65%, whichever it is, has to be from individuals.
Right.
That'd be hard to get that many donations, I think.
Right. Just because do you think it's the challenge in terms of what we're fundraising for, that people wouldn't be concerned enough about it?
Yeah, because it's something that doesn't as directly affect populations, so it's harder, I think, to. It'd be good focusing on the ham and bean supper. May be good, but beyond that, to vendors, I think people would think you're just helping out the vendors. I just don't think you could get the donations. If we concentrate on the ham and bean supper, that might work. But,
okay.
To get further than that, I just think it would be too hard to fund.
No, that's good feedback, and especially because you've recently been through this process. So,
well, I didn't need any. I was, if I had to get more, the garden club would have given some donations, but fortunately we got all our money and we didn't need to go. So we didn't at all personal donations, but that was kind of different because people see the results differently.
Right. And it's
Thank
also,
you,
I think,
Brett.
sorry?
I just said thank you, Brett. He was a donor.
You're welcome.
Oh. Yeah, so that's good feedback, because I wasn't sure how, to just kind of get a perception of, or sorry, a sense of how it would be perceived. So you think if we can kind of narrow it in, and I can get back to her and just tell Jody, maybe we don't need to push the other vendor. I was trying to get a full scope to kind of cost, get a sense of the cost, because I was hoping the rationale for trying to send it to the vendors, or at least one food vendor, was I was thinking if we, as we talked about, having a little bit of signage and having
Yeah.
maybe some sort of QR code that they could learn more about the sustainability committee, that maybe would get more traction or more visibility than,
True.
just at the prior evening's dinner. But, to your point, that might be more difficult to fundraise, particularly since it's not North Stonington specific. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people who come from out of town, so maybe fewer people would be willing to contribute to something that benefits a bunch of people that aren't from the town. Is that
Yeah,
sort of
well,
your thought?
yeah. Well, the vendors are there for a profit, obviously.
Right. Right.
It's worth looking into. Yeah, that's fine. Just being cautious.
Sure. No, of course. And
I have a question.
sure.
So if they're not going to use sustainable materials products, then where does the money come from? Is there a
For the ag fair? Like, where do they get the money?
no? Yeah, if they were just going to go get, plates and cups and bags and,
Comes out of the fair committee. I mean, it comes out of the proceeds from the fair.
right. So they already have
Supper.
that.
I think the ham and beans supper, isn't it run by the Grange, not the fair committee? I mean, it's all kind of goes into, it's very convoluted, but I think that's the Grange, which is also part of the fair. It gets confusing.
So maybe we
Yeah.
could ask, maybe it could be sort of one of the contributors. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to work it out, but whatever they've budgeted, so we're only fundraising for the difference between how much more expensive
Right,
it is to do
yeah,
sustainable
exactly.
products. So
Right.
whatever they would normally budget for, the regular plastic bags, we're fundraising for the cost of having, it's more expensive when you have recycled bags rather than, I know from firsthand experience. So that's what you're getting at, is sort of that difference would be what we could fundraise for.
Whether it's like that, or at least that they contribute some degree that they already were going to, and then we sort of level it with doing something different and, sustainable and better. But, even if, like Pat says, if it's say 65-35, whatever that smaller percentage that can come from one larger source that is not individual, we should probably try to extract that from
Right.
where it's already coming from. But I mean, and then this obviously
Yeah.
gets complicated, but I think that's at least makes it more economically feasible for everybody, for us to raise it, for them to buy
Right.
into it, etc.
Well, yeah, if the fair committee could put that in, that would work. Yeah.
That's a good point. I'll talk more with Jody about that particular aspect of it. That's a great point. I don't know what.
And then I'm just curious about the timeline. Like, when's the fair? When do they typically order things? Like, when do we have to have our money up front by, all that sort of stuff?
Right. That was part of, she said that the vendor contracts had already been signed, and this was as of when I spoke with her probably a couple weeks ago. So I know that a lot of, again, from the vendor side of things, that a lot of that has been already finalized. But from the purchasing side of timing of that, I can clarify. She might have mentioned it at some point. We hadn't gotten too much into the weeds because it was still so, we're still in exploratory mode, but I can definitely find out more things like, to your point, when do they need everything by? I believe the fair itself is, I want to say this is off the top of my head, but I think it's July 14th through 15th.
No, it's the second weekend. Yeah, whatever that is.
I think it's the fourth. That was just an, I can Google it. And so, things like trash bags, I don't think they need way in advance because they'll just use them when at the event. But certainly, we probably can't turn it in the day before. They probably needed a little bit more advance notice.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, North Stonington Ag Fair is July 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. Yeah, so it starts the 14th and ends the 17th.
But when is, I'm trying to look at it now, the ham and bean dinner is on,
The 14th, I believe.
it's on the first night.
No.
Oh, it's not, sorry.
Saturday, I think. It might be Friday, but no, it's not Thursday.
Okay, sorry about that.
I think it's Saturday. I'm not positive.
I'm sorry, I'm looking that up.
July's gonna come up
Saturday.
quick.
Saturday,
Mhm.
it's the 16th. You're right, Pat. Saturday from 5 to 7.
I'm just thinking about making a decision, setting
Mhm.
up a campaign,
Right,
getting the
Yeah.
campaign going, get that money for the campaign. I mean, these things just take so much longer than we think they should or want them to.
Yes.
okay, I'll circle back on that maybe we keep, per this discussion. I mean, obviously, if she happens to get in an estimate, we can consider it, but that maybe we keep the scope just to the ham and bean dinner and what the North Stonington Ag Fair covers. Then what's the timing for when they would need everything purchased by? And then what's their budget for these supplies? And, could they just do some sort of contribution or something so that we're not just out the whole cost of fundraising for just the whole
Mhm.
thing? Okay.
And even if it turns out that we nail down all the logistics and we
Mhm.
we catch it earlier next year,
Yeah.
we'll see how it sort of plays out, but
Hoping
Yeah.
it just, I think we've discussed this, but having a little bit more visibility for our committee, especially if we're down a member and wanting to just kind of spread the word a little bit more. Hopefully just getting the idea behind the sustainability committee in front of more people would be helpful.
yeah, right, for sure.
Um, Okay. Alrighty. Anything else on that before I move on?
Mhm.
And actually, I think the next item was, I went out of order, I apologize, but the farmer's market. And actually, Brett, I don't know if you're need to be muted or whether you can unmute, but since you're here, I was wondering would you like to give us an update on that?
Sure. And I just wanted to thank you for also amending the minutes last week. I know it was confusing, but there is a difference between the business and the person. So he just wanted that clear, but actually he has stepped away from planning for a little bit. So he's got a lot going on, some different things. So the planning committee has been getting together. Things are moving forward great. We had a nice interview with Westerly Sun today. We're up to about 14 vendors. I'm on the planning committee, but I'm also acting as like the liaison between the farmers market group and the town on the different boards and committees that might be involved. But right now we're moving forward with all the dates that we have had planned. We're incorporating some music as well. Sorry, the game's a little loud in the background here. And it's nice because we have a nice mix. When we first started, to be honest with you, we're starting to look a little more like a craft fair. And then over the past, and that's what we've always worried about through through all the studies on EDC and all the other the subcommittees. That's what always was a concern. But we've moved through that, and actually over the past 2 weeks, the amount of local farmers, whether it's meat, milk, or any other of the dairy products have come forward, and they're going to be exhibitors there. And I'm glad to see it on your agenda again, and I know you guys have talked about it over time, but we'd love to have you as part of it. And if you guys want to have a table there to get the word out on the different events and programs that you're running or trying to run, it'd be nice. Even about the pollinator pathway, things like that. It's going to be we're still looking for volunteers to help day of event type help, because we need help with parking, things like that. And on the fundraising side, we just Laura ran a t-shirt promotion. I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but actually we raised about $1,100 in 2 weeks with this promotion. And everyone knew that, you're buying a t-shirt, but part of the proceeds were going for fundraising for the farmers market. And we received some direct donations as well on top of that. So overall, we've raised about $1,300 with donations and part of the t-shirts, not including the vendor fees.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's going well.
What's the, how much do you need to raise?
So, well, there's always unexpected costs that will come up, but we're probably looking at another $800 or so that would really help. So there are some other programs that we're looking into to raise some funds as well, and maybe some more crowdfunding. But the support from the community has been overwhelming. The amount of people that are excited about it, and as we all know, being volunteers over the years, excitement's great, but we have to get people there, and we have to get people to participate, and that's always the challenge on any of these ventures. But it's going well.
Mhm.
So if you guys are interested in participating or having anything there, let me know. And Alexis, if you want to come, we have another meeting next week. We meet in North Stonington at the Education Center. Usually it's around 4:30 or so. I don't know which date it's going to be, but I can always let you know if you wanted to come. And that's when some of the volunteers come as well, that are helping just be part of it. They're not even vendors, so they're just community members that want to help.
Yeah, certainly. I can try. I don't, depending on what day and time it is, I can certainly try to make it. On the fundraising side, I had talked to the point person who runs their grant funding program about, whether that would be eligible, and it was in theory, pending more details, what the budget would entail and that kind of thing for what the budget would be and what you're looking to fundraise for and all of that. But it presumably he thought the concept was eligible. And my understanding, unless things have changed, is also there's no limitation as long as there's different organizations within one town who are kind of the sponsor of the crowdfunding campaign through Sustainable CT. It's not like the fact that we have Pollinator Pathways going on right now precludes us from running a different one, or Pollinator Pathways.
So we're finished Monday. We're closed on Monday.
Yeah, and I was just on it last night. Well, I guess sorry, I'm gonna go off track too much if I change topics, but yeah, so I don't think there's any reason if you're kind of going next towards kind of solicitation of more funding, that's an avenue if you'd like to pursue it. They seemed amenable to at least, hearing more. I just didn't have, a lot more details when I spoke with him, but he was open to the idea in theory.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just, yeah, if you want to let me know what you would need and things like that. And, part of the funding is we need to provide toilets and other things that Hewitt property doesn't have. So one of our biggest expense, and this maybe goes along with sustainability, is trash. So the trash removal is one of our bigger expenses for it as well. So we're trying to work on that, a solution to that now, because the way we have it now is we're gonna hire a hauler to come pick it up at the end of each event. And the toilet has to be dropped off and then picked up the next day, so that adds an expense. So those are our major expenses actually. And then we're going to work on the marketing and stuff like that. But like I said, if you guys want to be involved in other ways too to help get your message out, we're more than willing to work with you guys, and we'd love the participation.
Great. What are you, and maybe this is a menial detail that I can follow from later, but they asked what the booth fee is?
So the booth fee is, if you do all four, it's $75. Otherwise, it's $25 an event.
Okay.
And then, the plan for this is to see how it goes. As you know, I mean, you were on one of the subcommittees, that's the last
Right.
one, I think. But so we started off as pop-ups, so once a month. But if we get it going, we'd like to see it go every other week next year, if that's the way it goes. Or if it's going good by the end of the year or the end of the season, is there an indoor space that we can move that to and have something for the farmers for indoor space? So, but right now, those are the fees involved. I think the Lions Club is doing something there. The Wheeler Library asked if they can participate. So they will have a table there, and they're doing something for children. The community garden, the woman's name's escaping me right now that runs that, but she mentioned about maybe having a talk and a walk through the community garden that's on the Hewitt property as well. So we're trying to get community members involved too, to make it, a more exciting event for people to come and not only get their produce and their meats, but also see what else is going on in town.
That's awesome.
That's great. Are the dates set? I imagine they probably are.
Yeah, the dates are set. The first one's May 15th. And then I don't have the exact dates in front of me right now because I'm at my daughter's lacrosse game, but it's then June, July, and August. We've had a little debate in talking to some of the farmers about potentially moving the July date to September and skipping the July one, because it's actually, it will be between 4th of July and the fair. So I think it's a second weekend. So there's just a lot going on. So that's a debate that we're gonna actually talk about next week, whether we decide to move that till September. And September is a nicer time frame to have it than the middle of July in the field, is what a lot of the farmers and vendors have said to us. So we're taking the feedback.
Yeah, that's great.
So May 15th is a Sunday, so it's on that Sunday, the 15th?
Yes, so when all the data we had from all the previous subcommittees that we compiled, Sunday seemed to be the best one, either that or a Thursday night. But with everyone's schedules and volunteers, Sunday seems to be the time, and it's from 10 to 2.
And just out of curiosity, you mentioned the trash pickup. What do you? It's kind of. I guess I should know the answer to this, but like, what are you expecting in terms of trash? Is it things that are food related? Like, do farmers typically, let's say they have, you know, things that they don't sell at the end of the day? It's not that kind of thing. It's more just
No,
when people are
it's-
walking around.
Yeah, it's more trash. We've talked to the Lions Club about them having some food there because they
Okay.
had a cart. So there are these things like that. They're still waiting to hear back from them whether they are going to participate, because we wanted at least one food vendor there, and we were looking to have someone in town that could do it as a fundraiser compared to having a food truck just come in from out of town and run it.
Mhm.
And then just anything else that might happen there if people are buying, baked goods and eating them there. So we want people to be able to use the pavilion and sit down and relax. And like I said, we're talking about acoustic music, but yeah, the trash should be mostly just if people bring stuff in with them, or drinks, or paper waste from serving food.
This is a total non sequitur, but I'm just wondering if there's, because I'm in Rotary with someone from the Arc of Eastern Connecticut, and they're doing a bottle and can raising campaign where you put your recyclable goods in a box that they provide, and they use the proceeds of turning them in for fundraising for the Arc, which is a nonprofit. So
Yep.
Is it something that I could ask if they would be, or I don't know, for recyclables, maybe at least that would take some of it because they pick it up. So
Yeah, that'd be
would-
great. And
Arc's
Arc's a great program too.
right.
So yeah, that would be great. So even like the Lions Club talked about having a donation for their eyeglasses. So it's a little different because people would have to know about it and bring it there. But something like this, that would be great.
If people are purchasing, drinking, let's say like a bottle of water or something while they're at the farmer's market, and then they could just throw it there
Right.
instead of in some other trash receptacle. So I can
Right, and-
certainly ask if you're
Yeah.
amenable to that.
Yeah, of course. And like I said, I watched, now that your meetings are on YouTube, I watched quite a few of them. So some of your ideas about your kayaking events and things like that, I don't know when they were happening, but those are things that if you were able to have a table there or anything like that, it'd be great to market to the residents that way as well.
Yeah, I think we'd like to
Yeah, for sure.
get some enthusiasm to sign up for those kind of things.
And like anybody on the committee, if they want to come to any of the meetings, I'll send you when the next meetings are, and if you want to send it out to the rest of the committee here, and if anybody wants to come, it'd be great. Most meetings now, there's Beth Veris, there's Emily Lewis is on the planning committee, Laura Tillinghast, myself, Stephanie, my wife's on there, Miss Costanza comes. So we get a nice mix.
Matthew, we can see you.
of
Can you go?
people.
I was wondering, sorry, this is again, and probably to be talked about more in the actual farmers market committee, but also as another fundraiser for maybe some of the subsequent ones. I'm wondering if those if this might be again too involved, but I'm just thinking if there's kind of an art twist to it. I'm wondering if there's maybe Laura has some sort of artist whose design they'd want to put on a one of those recyclable bags, and maybe they could be sold at the farmers market, because I know when I've been to farmers markets in the past, they're either giving you a bag of this plastic or something, or for people who oh, I forgot my bags. And I'm wondering if that could be a source of revenue for the proceeds would go towards the farmers market, and then it would be for people who didn't bring their bags, and it could be some sort of design that's specific to the farmers market. That's just
Yeah, Yeah, we talked about having a North Stonington Farmers Market bag,
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
but other than our logo that Laura created, I like the idea of putting the artisan twist on it, and maybe we can talk to a few of the artists that are members of Milltown to see if we can maybe do a few different designs. But that's a great idea. I'll bring it back to the committee this week.
Then maybe it could be more expensive than, just like some of those recyclable bags people just charge, like $1 or something for the ones at Stop and Shop, but maybe it could be more of like a collector's item or something. But no, just came to me.
Right.
So,
And that's why we tried to, when Matt first started talking about it and then Laura was talking about Milltown, I tried to get them both together to say, hey, this could be something different. And Laura was looking at Hewitt Farm to do something in the house at potentially with the artist. And I don't know if that's moving forward, but she's trying to reach out to more artists as well to get them involved. The problem that we're finding with some of the artisans is, their price point doesn't really fit sometimes with the farmers market
Right.
price point group. So we're trying to see if we can find someone that's willing to do prints or things like that. I mean, we have artisans when it comes to, we have people that are making beeswax candles and other things, in some deluxe foods and things like that. But we really would still like to push the straight artists in town that, are painting or making pottery, things like that, and try to showcase that.
Mhm.
I'm almost thinking, I don't know if I'm originally from Rhode Island, and the Situate Arts Festival is a huge hit every year when they run that. And it's sort of to your point, Brett, that there are some higher price items that certainly are for sale, but from my recollection, most of the artisans or artists have, sort of a collection of their prints or postcards or something that is at a much more reasonable price point that at least they can sell in a kind of greater volume. And then, there's some people who will splurge on the paintings that are more like thousands of dollars. But yeah, I was just
Exactly.
envisioning as you were talking about that, the Situate Arts Festival is huge. I don't know
Right.
if anybody's
And-
ever been.
Yeah, no, I've been, and I lived in Rhode Island for quite some time too, but
Oh, okay.
it's maybe that's something that we can, we have a few people mixed in throughout the 4 that we're doing. And as you said that, I'm thinking maybe and I'll bring it up to the group, maybe we try to focus on our last one of the year to say, have a big art component to it and focus it like an art exhibit, art show.
Right.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that way the people that have some of the higher price things that don't want to sit through all 4 because they don't think they'll be selling might be willing to come and at least showcase their items. And one of the things we tried to talk to the farmers about and other vendors is, look, not only is it for you to sell your goods now or those days, we're trying to get people to know where they can get their meats or
Right.
their milk on a weekly basis or monthly, where they can go to the farms and get them there if we're not running a farmers market. So a lot of it was for, hey, you guys can market yourself during these times. You might not sell everything you're hoping to do that one day, that first one we have, but it's about marketing all your services throughout the year. So that's what we're really hoping for.
And I know one of the things I think we had talked about in a prior committee, just when we were when the farmers market came up, because I think it was one of the last subcommittee meetings that we had where we arrived at this kind of concept, and then then COVID happened. But the concept of almost like a farm trail, so like a map, almost the way that the conservation committee did a farm trail, and this idea is probably already very familiar to you, but where it would just be kind of a map of all the different farmers and what their hours of operation are for if you want to come pick up like what they provide and what their hours are, because I remember like Terra Firma as a perfect example. I remember sometimes like driving up being like, okay, I need milk, and then she'd be closed and I'd think, oh, I don't really know when she's open. So
Right.
and what she has in stock and that kind of thing on a normal basis. So doing that for sort of the entire town and maybe, I don't know if that's been discussed in the farmer's market.
We discussed it about having a list, but maybe a map, like something like that could work. And if we raised enough funds through all the stuff we're doing to do that and produce that would be great. But yeah, like Terra Firma, they just actually signed up last week. So Breed
Oh, good.
is coming. So it's good. We have the Belinda from the Learn Farm, they signed up, the Lewis Farm. So we have a lot of the farms that actually produce some good products that some people, so Breed, she markets well, but some of these other ones, you know, and Belinda and the Lewises are all well known, but we have some smaller ones that people don't even know about. And that's, you know, it's about getting the word out. You know, our residents or our farmers can produce all the goods or products they want, but if we can't get them to the consumer in town, people don't understand it. So it's kind of like when we started the Village Co-op during the pandemic, getting everyone to have their stuff in one location so people can see it is half the battle. So we're hoping that this just continues and grows.
That's awesome. Very exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I have to say the past few weeks have really, you know, got us moving forward a lot faster with, you know, at first the vendors forms, I checked the mail, they were trickling in, but now they, you know, then all of a sudden it went forward really quickly. So it's looking good, and I think great things. And now we have the vendors now where it's getting the residents to come and show up.
That's great. Thank you for the update. And yeah, I'm going to try to make the next meeting if I don't have something else going on.
No problem. I will send you the information, and thanks for the time and thanks for all you guys are doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much. Looking forward to checking it out in May.
All right, perfect.
Thanks. Good.
Okay, then I think the next thing that, and we've been talking about this, I think a little bit offline over the past month, but kind of our Earth Day plan. And so I know that you had passed along, I thought I would get back to Bill once we had further discussions in this committee, but you know, in terms of doing some sort of cleanup, and you know, I looked like Bill mentioned what they're doing is just asking that people indicate where they're going to be cleaning up so that they can kind of track, you know, the different sites for trash cleanup. So just wanted to kind of, I know we were talking about a couple locations of where we might want to, you know, kind of have our sustainability committee team sign up to do some trash cleanup on Earth Day, and then also put it on that, communicated on that site that you can share so that if people want to sign up for an Earth Day cleanup, they can find our site. So I think we were talking about Lantern Hill, but any other, you know, I just wanted to open the discussion in terms of locations that would be a good place for a cleanup. Earth Day, just as a reminder, is Friday, April 22nd. So I think, you know, that might be difficult given work schedules. So whether we, you know, push it to Saturday, for example, to orchestrate a cleanup, or whether you want to do it on Friday afternoon or something. So I wanted to talk about that too.
So why don't we, like, as our committee, support Earth Day cleanup on Earth Day,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
have it as more of two events, right? So we're celebrating Earth Day the 22nd and 23rd, right? So, you know, the Conservation Committee is spearheading the Saturday event. So, I mean, I don't think it has to be one or the other. I mean, I know, you know, and John too, right? Like, we like to do Earth Day on Earth Day. So it could benefit everybody if we just made it a 2-day celebration.
Yeah, more opportunity for people to mouth.
Say that one more time, Craig. I think we lost you a little bit. I think you said, or an opportunity for, and then I didn't get the last part.
Oh, sorry, I said an opportunity for just more people to come out over more time. That's all.
Mhm.
Right. Okay, so we'll do something on Friday itself. Where I know we were batting around different ideas in terms of location. Lantern Hill's a great hike, but once you get up the first hill, Craig, you were saying you rarely see it trash.
Yeah.
It does accumulate on the road. So we talked, I think last time about, oh, I think did anybody else hear him or is it just me or is his audio?
I might be going through some bad places.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm probably out the other side of the Central Connecticut dead zones. Sorry.
I know we had talked about the challenge of doing, like, the best place would be around the dump, like on that road, or you mentioned 201 down to Route 2. Now, in Bill's email, he had referenced the fact that if you have a car with flashing lights, that kind of may be a mitigant for the risk factor of doing it along the road. So just kind of wanted to put that out there, whether we want to do like a park that is clearly off the road with traffic, or whether we wanted to opt for someplace on the road.
I think we should probably go the same route as their conservation committee and just everyone just picks their spot. Like, my neighborhood might have more than another neighborhood. I don't know. I think wherever people feel more comfortable going, like last year I took the kids to the rec because it was a win-win.
Okay, so sorry.
Yeah, no, so, and then we went to Hewitt Farm too, and then, and, there was some stuff there, but I think, like, I personally wouldn't take my kids on 201 or Route 2, so,
Right.
I guess it's wherever people feel more comfortable in doing it, as long as they're doing it, I guess.
So were you envisioning that we're all kind of doing our own thing and picking a location that is meaningful for you, or did you want to try to put something together as a whole committee where we're in the same place?
I was thinking like just everyone on their own.
Pick a location and announce it and then do it.
So for the publishing the location on the Earth Day site, would we put in each of our locations just before you like think about where you're going to go and then put it in for other people to potentially join, or how would you like to?
So I haven't looked at that part of the website. Do you have to specifically put in an address, or could it just be town-wide, or?
I'm on the website now. It is, I thought I was on it before. Register your Earth Day event. I was on it before, and then I was going to register, and then I was realizing that I think you have to, you have to include a specific address, and you select it on a map. Here, I'm gonna, sorry, let me show you this on your side. My whole computer situation. I'll show it. So you register an event, and then you register cleanup, and then it says you have to fill out the map with an address and pinpoint on the map so others can participate in your cleanup. Cleanup's gonna be inputted as private or public. So I was thinking about it in terms of promoting like on our Facebook page, and I was going to send to Russell, indication to put it on our, Jim Russell, to put it on our sustainable page. So that's why I was going to try to register this first to then, so that we have a link to our location on the map. So I mean, guess presumably we could do multiple ones, but I just wasn't sure if that would kind of dilute, if we were all doing separate ones, separate events, that it might dilute where to, where we're convening and doing it. But I'm fine either way.
I'm wondering if we use like the transfer station address, but then in like maybe our event description, just put like clean up along Winnetonka. Because even if we cleaned up along Winnetonka on Friday, there's gonna be more trash on Saturday. So it's not like we're taking away from the people coming out on Saturday.
Oh,
I
no.
always look, because I go every week, so I always look and I'm like, oh, I would be livid if I lived here.
Yeah.
Is there, or to the point earlier about, you wouldn't bring your children on the street to do that. Is there an area where we can kind of like, maybe the starting point is somewhere that's more family friendly, in terms of where to like drop the pin for the map? Do you ever, I'm not envisioning it very well, but is there a place where like, oh, if you're with your family, you can do this area, and then if you're more brave and intrepid, you can continue on, but at least we're not dissuading potential families from, like they see the address and they say, heck no, I'm not doing that with my 6-year-old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think Brett raised his hand. I don't know what to
Yeah.
do if you raise your hand. Do I do something?
I just sorry to interrupt, but I was just walking out of the game and people asked what meeting I was on, and I mentioned you guys were talking about Earth Day, and one of the members that runs the local Girl Scouts.
Oh, are you still there?
That's safe for kids to help.
Oh, we lost you. I think you were transitioning
You
to
kinda-
a different. Brett, are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
That's okay. We heard something about Girl Scouts and then we heard kids, but I don't think we heard anything.
Sorry, I was walking and then it connected to my car. So
Mhm.
I was walking out and somebody saw that I was on a meeting, so they asked what I was listening to, and I said you guys were talking about Earth Day, and she
Mhm.
runs one of the she's a troop leader for the Girl Scouts, and she mentioned that she just reached out to Bob to try to figure out where a location would be that it is safe for families. Just like you were saying, she can't have her girls walking down the street picking up trash. So there doesn't seem to be a location for those family friendly Earth Day event like you were just mentioning. So I just wanted to bring it up because you just mentioned it as you were talking about something similar about a safe family friendly environment.
Mm.
Sorry.
No, thank you. Is Lantern Hill something, you said there is some trash, but it doesn't, not
No.
on far up, but it doesn't get very much trash. I mean, I walk my dog at Hewitt pretty regularly, and I always seem to pick up trash there. So maybe Hewitt would be kind of the family friendly. I know we talked about Hewitt from the beginning. I know there's not copious amounts of trash there, but I definitely always see some. Any other kind of the other places I go for walks, I never really see very much in the way of trash. It's definitely Hewitt, I would say, more than the other places. The other ones are Avalonia's.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the thing with a rural town is that you're going to get garbage on the roads, and there aren't a lot of communal places where people gather like they do. But I mean, Hewitt is probably the most, it's not concentrated isn't the word, but people, I can't think of another place that's not a road where people gather at all.
So what about if we did 2 registrations of sites, one basically around the dump, on the road for the braver people, and one that's kind of more kid friendly, and make that kid friendly one Hewitt. Would that work for you guys? Okay. So I can register these if you'd like on this Earth Day site, and then I'll share the link on our Facebook page and the town or on the Sustainable North
Okay.
Stonington site, and then you know, you can spread the word amongst your.
Is the
Right.
idea to do them simultaneously? Or are we trying to set times for things? Like, are we trying to create an event, or are we just trying to create space for people to show up whenever, I guess is the question. Event being maybe not an event, but at least like some type of communal thing.
Right.
Because then we need a time and, you know, a little more organization to it. Or are we just saying, hey, these places need cleanup, go check it out? I mean, my plan just personally is to wake up real early, hopefully, and do at least some of that walk down 201, just because I drive it all the time. And I feel like no one else is going to do it. But like I can do that and then be somewhere at some other time. So that's not, like, I'm not going to devote the day to it at least. So if I know that I should be at Hewitt at a certain time or whatever, then, you know.
I mean, it does ask for a start time. We can certainly, you know, leave that blank. I mean, I think after, I would say sometime after school, if it's going to be with kids. So whenever school lets out.
So actually, that's vacation week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
So it could just be an all-day activity because, you know, a whole bunch of us parents are going to be home with the kids all week. So we're going to want to get out. So
Get something to do.
yeah.
Okay, so should I just make it in the morning, like, you know, pick a time, and then it could just be, you know, kind of come whenever, but start time be like 9 a.m. or something?
Yeah, I don't know how it, if you have to hit a format, but if you just put anything in, I would put something like 9 a.m. on, but I don't know if you
Right.
can put text in there, but if you can put it, just pick a time and say on.
Okay. No, that works. That's a good idea. Okay. That sounds like a plan.
So then we're not trying to gather people at any time at any place per se.
Yeah,
That's totally fine. I'm just clarifying.
I think that to your point, the issue might be, you know, I know that if, let's say, I can't make something at a certain time because it doesn't fit in my schedule, then the inclination is sort of, well, I'm not going to.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Versus if they know they can go at any time, maybe they'll be more likely to go at a time that's convenient, and rather than just being like, oh, I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I didn't make the time, so I'm not going to do it at all.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think leaving it open like that is definitely better for the town and for cleaning places up. The only thing it's not better for is like getting our name out. But if people are seeing it, they're
Yeah.
at least being aware that we exist because it was our idea. So that is getting the name out. So that's okay, I guess.
And I guess I can, let's see, the other, I'm just thinking about the same angle as for the ag fair. I could pick up some rolls of the more, you know, the trash bags that are made out of recycled plastic. And I wonder if there's a way for me to, let me think this through. I wonder if there's a way to have some sort of station where if we put the pin at the, you know, at the particular location, whether it's at like, you know, particular place at Hewitt, you know, the start of Hewitt, and then at the, where we decide to drop the, where we put the pin for the dump, if there's some way to like, are you going to pick up trash? Take here, you know, take this trash bag. Just thinking along the same lines of, you know, if we're picking up trash and we're thinking about sustainability, to not use like a fresh plastic bag.
Are you thinking like like we can get these bags, because maybe like we can leave them like where the trail maps are,
Right.
or I don't know.
Yeah, like something like that where I could just, because I wouldn't personally be able to commit to being there all day in case somebody shows up on a Friday unless, but just some way of like leaving it for people to take them if they're going to do a trash pickup rather than, using a new plastic bag.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so I can, do you think that's acceptable to, somehow like I can make some sort of thing that won't
Mhm.
blow away and have some sort of signage and to the point that you are making, that's the other reason I thought of it. To your point, Craig, about raising awareness, maybe that I could create some sort of sign that says, like take a bag on behalf of the or brought to you by the sustainability
Mhm.
committee. And then
Yeah,
with
yeah,
a
yeah.
like I have a colleague who I'm sure I can figure this out, but everybody's I feel so old because I don't know really anything about QR codes. And I have a colleague who makes all these QR codes for any kind of event we have. And then you just hold up your phone and then, it brings you to a link. So I was thinking, maybe I can figure out a way to print the sign that says like, oh, your trash bag is brought to you by the sustainability committee. And this is a little bit more about your trash bag that's not made out of new plastic.
Mhm.
And then a QR code to the sustainable North Stonington site. So maybe I can figure that out.
That sounds great. I'm also not a QR person, but it sounds great.
I'm gonna pick her brain on how to create one. I don't know how to make a
It,
QR
it
code.
sounds good, but we only have like less than 2 weeks.
Right.
Right.
I
Good
don't mind.
context. Good context.
I don't mind handling that. That's an easy. I can sort that part out.
It's 2 weeks from this Friday, right?
Mhm.
More than 2 weeks. A little more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything else on that before I move on?
That's
Alrighty.
good.
Let's see, sustainable, this next sustainability social media campaign, that's still awaiting somebody who's more of hopefully somebody who joins with a lot of gusto for social media. So anybody, I guess this is a good time to ask if anybody has any prospects in the new member
No.
department. And I know that the quarterly just came out, I believe. So maybe after people read it and digest it, we'll have some takers. But
Yeah, that was a great piece you put together. It was really great.
oh, thank you. It's amazing when you have like a word limitation, how really, like we had a stipulation for the number of words, and I'm like, oh, it's sometimes harder to write when you know you can't. You have to limit the character, the number of words. Just going to jump around for two quick things. Sustainable CT, there's no real update on that for the time being. I have been exchanging some like playing telephone tag with Jeff, who's the person who runs the program. Typically it doesn't open back up until June, because that's when they get their interns who are able to assist on it. So I checked the website, their portal, there's nothing, like obviously we could start uploading things certainly, but in terms of when we would have the commitment of the interns, it's usually in the like late May, early June timeframe. So I'll keep you posted when I hear that. As I said, we've been playing telephone tag. I'm gonna hope to try to catch up for this week. The other thing is on just the Sustainable North Stonington website and Facebook updates. I just wanted to give a special shout out to Tula, who's been posting quite a bit. So thank you for all your efforts in the posting side, because I'm not regularly on Facebook. So I did post, and this is a good segue into Pollinator Pathways, Pat, because was it Louise from Pollinator Pathways had posted something about new SB 120, which is legislation at the Connecticut state level, a bill that's banning certain pesticides that have been known to be quite harmful to pollinators. And so I did post that to our Facebook page. I also asked Jim to put that on our website. And I did call and email our, our representative and senator just to kind of support that. So, if you talk to anybody and happen to want to mention it, or if you want to call, it was very easy. I just like the information, I'm going to pull it up. If I can.
Yeah.
Yes, hold on one second, I'll share it. The information that she provided in the brochure, in the PDF, includes like a script so you don't have to, reinvent the wheel or make up
Right.
the research and all of that. So it's pretty simple. And you just like leave a voicemail for your representative and your senator, and you can email them as well. So it honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult than it was. So I would, if you are inclined, I would urge you to do that and kind of spread the word about it. And the other thing I just wanted to quickly mention before I turn it over to Pat is that here, I'm going to share my screen and show you the thing that pollinators put together. Connecticut Magazine, I don't know if you receive it, but they have a really, this latest issue, I'm about halfway through. It's all like on Connecticut, the condition of the environment and all the different areas like clean water, clean air, climate change, conservation. They have a big feature on trash and what activists are doing about, helping some of these areas. It goes back into the history of, when DEP was put in place and, what they've done in the past and different statistics. It's really interesting. So if you get the magazine, I just thought I'd point that out. It's an interesting read given what we're talking about. So this is the Pollinator Pathway pamphlet about SB 120. So I know Pat, I think you got it, but if I can share it with the rest of the group as well, but I wanted to share this. And then Pat, it's a good segue into your, I was so excited. I think you went over your amount.
We did, still accepting donation. They won't get matched, still accepting through Monday. So we're very successful, and thank everybody. I think we have 18 donors, and Cameron said they'd like to see 20, but since we're only looking for a small amount of money, Joseph, the guy at Sustainable CT, said, actually, when we only had 12, he said that was fine. So we're good.
Oh.
He approved that, and we've gotten more since then. So we're all good. I've got a lot of plants ordered. There's a print brochure that I've got to get out. I haven't done that yet. That'll go in the library at Trifold and any place else you think we should put them. They'll go there. The end of the month, we'll get 2 new beds ready at the library and up for the Rome Congregational Church. I've been working with Emily at the library, and we'll get them going. We'll get them planted in mid-May, and keep trying to get the word out. Keep trying to get more people signed on, and that's about it.
So when you say signed on, that means that
Sign the pledge that they will. I mean, you don't have to be on the pathway to sign the pledge. It says that you won't use pesticides and chemical fertilizers, and you'll try to include plants that bloom all season, and you'll try to not mow your lawn like a putting green. And then if you for $10, you can get the sign to post on your property. And the signs, I didn't realize that till after it started. The signs only cost if you're buying them in bulk, only cost a little more than half that much. So the rest of the money goes into the project. But don't tell people that, that's a secret.
Pat, do you have a link for where, like, is signing the pledge, is it a online thing or
So
is it?
it'll be in the brochure and has been online. It's on the brochure. There was a different brochure that we gave to everybody in the village. It's on the pathway. And then things that have gone out with the quarterly and things like that have the email that they can contact no.stowe.pollinators@gmail.com.
Pat, will you have the brochure like as a PDF that we could post on the website and social media?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I can redo that to a one-page thing instead of 2 sides of a trifold.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to redo that. Do I have the pledge on there? I'm not sure if I do or not. I've got to redo what's on the town website anyway, because I got to talk to Jim, because obviously we've got to get the crowdfunding off of there. So yeah, I have to talk to Jim sometime this week and get that taken care of. It's on my list.
Great, thanks, Pat. That's very exciting. Congratulations on the campaign. I had, the first time I checked it, it was, you were at like 300, and I know we were talking, oh, you're almost there. And then the next time I looked at it, it was a lot, it was $200 more. I was very excited, so that's great.
Oh, I was on vacation. I was out in Colorado, and Cameron called and she said, I knew I was close, but I didn't know I'd made it. And she said, you've reached your goal. And she said, I talked to Joseph and he's agreed to increase it. So it went up to 500 instead of what it was. So we, increased our goal, did all that. So, I was in a car going on my way to go skiing, and then all of a sudden, just you made it. I said, woohoo!
That's
yeah.
very exciting. Oh, and Pat, do you want to share, because it was something that just that had come up during the Board of Selectmen meeting that Bob had raised about with the farmers market, they might need some additional parking, and so whether that was going to have any sort of, I think he wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to impact them. So just to share with the team that aspect of it.
Well, I think I've assuaged Bob's problems. I don't think there really is any issue there. And he just wanted to worry. It's okay. We're good. Again, they're not going to mow it down like a golf course, I don't think. Yeah, they just want to mow it once a month before the farmers market, and that's fine. If so, they're not going to scalp it. Yeah. One thing I kept forgetting to ask, Brett, you might know the answer. I'm assuming it's right, but the when he's for the hay, your contract for the hay, I assume they're not using any chemical fertilizers.
I don't believe they are. I can double check. Ron Lewis has that contract, but I know it came up at one of the meetings about the field. He said that they aren't using any chemical fertilizers, all natural fertilizers for that. I'll double check, but I'm 99% sure that's what was stated. But I can find out and get back to you on that.
Okay, right.
Sure.
Okay, I don't have anything else.
Okay. I was just looking something up because my mother was, you know what, I'll see if I can do more research on this and find, share it with you afterwards. But she was saying, I was just doing some spring cleanup
Mhm.
and raking. I always leave I know it's a lot of times people do the spring cleanup in the fall, and I had then subsequently read that like, no, 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 leave everything where it is because that's where everything sort of, butterfly eggs and that kind of thing. And so I was raking my leaves and she said, oh, don't chop them because you'll kill all the eggs. And she said, oh, before it's something about if the weather is below 50 degrees at night, anytime before that. So this was just all her kind of.
Well, everything in moderation. I mean, it's lists on the things on the pledge that we want you to do is try to put off a lot of your cleaning till March. Well, nighttime 50 degrees. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. By that time, you're you're planting your tomatoes.
Right.
I've heard March 15th, and I didn't do a lot of cleanup till I came back from vacation on the 22nd. The idea that native bees and some things like that lay eggs in the stems of things, but just don't do all your cleanup. It's okay to tidy up a few things, but just don't go hog wild. And again, it's not a golf course. Yeah, I mean,
I do want a sign.
You're planting then.
Pat, for when I don't mow my lawn, I need one of the signs up.
Yep. That's okay.
I laugh because my husband and I always have very strong debates about, like, we have a lot of dandelions and chicory in our lawn, and I think it's pretty because it's like, it's colorful. It's like, oh, there's some yellow and some blue and it's nice. And it's not just all like, boring green. And, and he knows I would never spray, but he thinks it's horribly ugly and that, one shouldn't have dandelions on one's lawn. So it's funny. It's all just perspective. I think it's pretty, but not everybody agrees.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm supposed to leave the dandelions there. I have a problem with them, not because they're weedy, but because they're so horizontal. They take over other things. They cover things. It's the leaves I don't like, but yeah, they're there, and yeah, they have a purpose.
What plant was it that you mentioned, Pat?
No, the dandelions.
Oh, dandelions.
Too. The leaves are very broad and flat, and they take up too much room.
Yeah.
But they have a purpose. I love the clover and the violets and all those other things in the lawn. Yep.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, congratulations again. And I think that's it for me. I'll open it up to any other comments or things that you all want to raise to the committee. Okay, I was just going to mention for that, because I think I saw some emails going around. For our next meeting, I know we've sort of been hunkering down, but do you want to meet in person? Like, is the preference to meet in person? I know Craig, for example, like I know, it is just people are coming and going, and sometimes it's easier to join by phone, but I wanted to throw that out there just in case everybody was feeling too separated from and wanted to get together in person.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too. Just I saw a lot of the other meetings. I don't know if most of them in town or in different places in town now. People are meeting in person. I'm up for that. I'm flexible. I could do either one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just need advance notice. It just it's obviously easier for me with Zoom, but if I have enough notice, then I could try to make it work.
Yeah. I'm
go ahead, Brett.
purpose. I can do Zoom, but I'm fine in purpose.
Go ahead, Brett.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to chime in. So you talked about reaching out to your legislature. You might want to do that about this because they still haven't passed the law or the extension yet. So right now, as of April 30th, technically aren't allowed unless they extend it. They are moving things forward, and hopefully by then it will be extended. But as of now, April 30th is the cutoff for hybrid or virtual meetings. Just thought I'd let you guys know that.
Really?
Oh, and then we're not allowed to have them anymore.
Really?
Yeah, so technically the way they're talking about it is you would still be able to broadcast your meeting, but as a committee, you couldn't make decisions or a vote
Oh,
by virtual means. But they're trying to get that passed quickly, and hopefully that happens. So they
Huh.
just, for instance, they just extended the outdoor seating for restaurants. That by right, restaurants now have outdoor seating extended until next year. So they're trying to do that with this, but it just hasn't happened yet. So reach out to anyone you know that the voting member of the House or the Senate. And hopefully they can get that done quickly because we only have 3 weeks left. So you might just want to monitor that. I'm sure Bob or someone will make an announcement, or Antoinette, if that doesn't get passed, but just keep that on your radar.
Okay.
Thanks.
you. I didn't realize that. Thanks. Okay, so maybe I'll let's plan the next one will be in person. And we can I'll coordinate. I don't think there's anything. I'll have to just make sure that we have a location that isn't being used at that time. I think that's all I've got.
Okay.
So unless there's anything else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay. Dinner time. Thanks, everybody.
Sounds good. Hey, if
Thanks,
people
Brennan.
know, if people know they're gonna be, I know, I like the idea of it being open for Earth Day, but if, we can just use our informal email if anyone knows they're gonna be at a certain place, just, maybe we can
Okay.
call spouse and say hi and all that sort of thing.
Good.
Good. All right, take good care, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Brett and Nicole, for joining.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.